Hello and welcome to the Sheff United Way YouTube channel. My name is Nick, or In Good Nick. I don't know why I've stopped saying In Good Nick, but here I am. My name's In Good Nick. I'm going to introduce Hal in a second. There's your second. How are you doing, mate?
I think that was about a second. Yeah, appreciate that.
No problem, mate. You weren't expecting that, were you?
Not really, no. And the how was, I don't know how loud your mic is for everyone else, but for me, with headphones in, that was very loud.
But you shouldn't have headphones in then, should you, really?
What did I learn?
Cool. You should be cool like everybody else. So, shall we get into the start of the video? So, obviously, this is the match preview to Swansea City. It's tomorrow, 14th of August at 8 p.m, live from the Liberty Stadium and also on Sky Sports Football. Is that correct, Hal?
Oh, yeah, and Sky Sports main event. And our watch-along starts on this channel, much more importantly, at 7:30 in the PM. And Nick, you might have been excited for this game. Well, I don't know if this is going to dampen that excitement. The referee for this encounter is Keith Stroud.
Not Keith Stroud.
You always do that because you never remember anything about referees. He is the referee blowing a kiss to the ball ahead of Fulham versus Middlesbrough.
Oh, yeah, I did see that on social media. He's the worst. I don't know anything else about him other than that. But that is a shocker. It's like when I think it was Clattenburg got a tattoo of like the Champions League final or something like that. Right, Clattenburg?
Yeah, Clattenburg, yeah.
He's not a player. He's a referee. And he wasn't a great referee at that. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. So we're talking about the last game that we played, which I think we should talk about the Birmingham game rather than the Carlisle game, because we probably learnt more about what's going to happen for the rest of the season at that game rather than the Carlisle game. So, evening, John. Evening, Joachim. How's it going? Anyway, let's get straight into it. So, last game. Sheffield United 0, Birmingham City 1. I'm not going to talk about it for too long because, yeah, we obviously, I've already done a match reaction. We were okay. We were just okay. Not much else to it. We were poor defensively, gave them way too many chances away and didn't really create too much either. I think we had one or two shots on target, nothing where the keeper had to make a save. Obviously, the thing that sticks in everybody's mind is Fleck having a shot and them playing volleyball with it. And then after that, Hal, I don't know if you heard this watching it on the box, but after that, Birmingham City, I've missed fans so much in the stadium because Birmingham fans were going, handball, handball, handball. And it's great when you're the one shouting handball, but when it is actually a handball and they're doing that to you to mock you, it's just the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, like when you're on the other end of the ole, ole, when you're losing and your team's got lots of possession. But I will say this, at home, in the Championship, Sheffield United should not be relying on penalties to get a point at home against Birmingham City.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely. I was embarrassed, really, that we'd not created any chances, really. A couple that kind of went across the box, but there was a Sander Berge penalty shout that everyone were bellowing for, and I'm like looking at it thinking, I don't think he touched him. And if he did touch him, it was minimal contact for such a big bloke. So we don't want to win games this season with penalties. If they come along, fair enough. But yeah, like you say, we want to win games because we're the better team. And against Birmingham, we weren't. Anyway, so over to you, Hal. Last time out, Swansea City.
I'm going to take you back to Saturday, the 19th of January, 2019. Unfortunately, it was 1-0 Swansea. The Blades went into this one. We were on a 4-match winning run. Started the first half really well. Should have scored. But Swansea made the Blades pay with a second half transformation, which led to who else? Ollie McBurney. A well-worked winning goal. I remember the stats from this because I was so frustrated at the time. We had 12 shots. They had 11. I mean, this game should have been a draw. We had 4 on target. They had 3. I think a draw would have been a fair result. I was on TalkSport 2 early this morning actually talking about that game and just going back to it and how kind of annoying it was. Also, Nick, if you're interested, the team that day, Henderson in goal, Basham, Egan, O'Connell, our sweet prince, Baldock, Norwood, Fleck, Stevens. I'm going to miss out one player on purpose. Sharp and McGoldrick. Who was playing in the hole, that number 10 role for the Blades?
I think I know who you're trying to say, but I don't know if you're trying to wind me up here.
I'm not trying to wind you
really
up.
random. Is it Mark Duffy?
It is Mark Duffy. I just look back at that team and think, that's the Sheffield United team that I think of when I think of the Chris Wilder era.
Who's in the midfield? Was it Norwood and Fleck then?
Yeah, Norwood, Fleck. And then, of course, you've got Baldock and Stevens just either side. I mean, that's a team.
That was the team?
That was the team.
The only player that I would maybe add into that, no, not really.
It's the team.
Martin Craney was incredible at the back end of that season. I loved him so much.
Little Martin Craney.
And he's in his pants with his sombrero on stage, singing karaoke. You can't beat it.
Yeah. I totally agree with that, but definitely he is not who I instantly think of when I think of the Sheffield United Wilder team. So, you're reading comics.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Anyway, let's go into team news, and I'll make myself slightly bigger there. Team news. So it is pretty much as it was before, other than obviously Moose out for between 4 to 6 weeks, we think. Also, Ender Stevens still out 4 to 6 weeks. That's what Slav said on his video. He didn't really say a lot. The only thing that I really took from that was that Ronaldo Vieira is definitely going to sign for us, apparently, because that's pretty much what he said. Other than that, not a lot else has changed, really. Ollie McBurney and Billy Sharp are another 45 minutes closer to kind of starting, if you like. They played against Carlisle. I'll just quickly bring up the predicted side. Here it is. So this is mine. Hal went for a slightly different flavour, and you can find that on Twitter. So I've gone Ramsdale in the goal. I've gone Baldock, Egan, Basham at left centre-back. We may change that over. It doesn't really matter, I don't think, because I don't really think Egan and Basham are... Either of them are brilliant with their left foot. So one of them... I just want to see those two start because I think they are our two most solid centre-backs. Then I've gone Osborne at left-back, even though I didn't think he had the best of games against Birmingham City. It could be Reece Norrington-Davis. And then it could be Osborne in the midfield because if everybody's fit, that's what I'd probably play because I thought Fleck was really, really poor against Birmingham. The whole game just passed him by. But like I said, I've got him in the midfield next to Norwood and then next to Sander Berger, which is the same midfield as against Birmingham. And then we've got the same strike force except for Brewster coming in for Moose. Obviously got his goal. It was a tap-in, but at the end of the day, he was there to put the ball in the back of the net. And that's what we want to see. We want Brewster to score loads and loads of goals. And we also want to see him score goals against Swansea because they love him. They love McBurney. So it'd be lovely to see both of those two score and we beat them. But anyway, Hal, what I'll do is I'll let you talk about Swansea for a little bit.
I will. And I'll also thank Steve York for 10 English pounds. If you could be one player back from the past to play for the Blades this season. I think he means bring. If you could bring one player back from the past to play for the Blades this season, who would it be and why? For me, Jamie Hoyland, the box-to-box workhorse Lunny wishes he was. Jamie Hoyland's an interesting shout, Steve. I'll be honest, he was a decent midfielder. I'm not sure he's exactly what we're missing. I think we need more creativity. In his prime, Michael Brown would have been the player that I think we're missing, that kind of player. What do you think, Nick?
I agree. I think it needs to be a creative midfielder, maybe even a Mark Duffy, to make things tick and make things happen and find those gaps and that space, which what he was always really good at. It has to be some attacking midfielder. And Hal, I'm always going to go Mark Duffy.
I just feel like with Didsey, he can play in that Mark Duffy role, and we need someone who can also do the ugly side. And Michael Brown definitely didn't shirk a challenge.
No, he did not.
Maybe not.
Maybe that season when everything he hit went in the back of the net because didn't need to do the dirty side, did he? Because everything was just top corners.
Absolutely, yeah. But anyway, that's my shout. And let's look at Swansea. Now, the former Norwich defender and MK Dons gaffer Russell Martin is the new Swans manager. He made 5 changes to their lineup for the Reading win. Dan Williams and Joel Perreault impressed on their senior debuts They might be on the bench. They might play, probably on the bench. The Swans this week brought in midfielder Flynn Downs. He signed from Ipswich Town. I kind of expect him to start. I think Swansea...
Yeah, I do too. Flynn Downs, he's incredible. Such a great player.
Is that another one that you've never heard of?
Never heard of.
All right, they play a 3-4-1-2, and their possible starting lineup looks like this. Bender, Nick, Cabango, Norton. They've got, I can never say this guy's name, but Latibudiri.
Probably.
Okay. Patterson, Downs, who we mentioned. Grimes, who's the captain. Bidwell, who was giving it to some Reading fans in the previous game when the ball went out and they threw the ball away, the fans. He just pointed at the scoreboard. Swansea were winning. Lowe, and I did mention Perot. He might play. Let's throw him in there just, because why not? They play the same way as the Blades do under Slav, that possession-based game with an emphasis on penetrating the opposition defensive structure, kind of occupying that final third. United and Swansea, I think, are going to play a really similar game. Both were the top two in possession stats at the opening weekend in the Championship, and both lost by a single goal. Swansea were beaten in their first game away at Blackburn 2-1.
There we go. That's what we like to hear. I was listening to Ollie McBurney-Powell's interview on the Sheffield United, I'm going to say the Sheffield United Way channel, on the Sheffield United channel, and he said quite a few things what you just said there. Very, very similar style of football, but hopefully we'll come out on top. So talking about coming out on top, Hal, score prediction?
You're not going to like it. I'm going to go one apiece. Rhian Brewster to score for the Blades. The reason I say this, Nick, is we haven't won the first away game of our season too often. Just 2 in the last 31, and not since we beat Oldham back in the 2011-12 season. And another reason why I don't think we're going to get 2 goals is Swansea City conceded just 16 goals at home in the Championship all of last season.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It is going to be a really tough game. They were unlucky against Blackburn, and they absolutely smashed Reading midweek. So I'm fearing the worst, but at the same time, I've gone for a 2-1 Blades win. I don't care. I honestly don't care. I'd rather us not lose the game. I think that we need to get points on the board quick. I'm not saying that I'm panicking or anything like that. Like a lot of people are on Twitter, really, really annoying me. How many people have said, "Oh, I wonder if Chris Wilder wants to take over." Oh, shut up. Slav is notorious for starting slow, and he's only just taking the reins at Bramall Lane. It's going to take some time to get used to. Let's settle in, Blades. Stop panicking. Yes. But yeah, it's going to be a difficult one. It really, really is. However, I've said a 2-1 win. I'm just hoping, really, mate. But I'm going to go for a Brewster 10th minute goal, then Swansea to get one back, and then Ollie McBurney-Powell coming on last minute. Boom!
Ollie McBurney-Powell, pop your score predictions below. That would be absolutely brilliant. I want to see what you think to this game. One of you is going to be right. I'm going to give you a memorable match now, Nick. Do you know how far back I had to go to find a win at Swansea?
52 years.
Not far off. 1958.
Oh my God, I was just joking. Jeez.
So seriously, I always like to pick, when I do the memorable match, a game that is also an away game if we're away, a home game if we're at home. I can't do that because I don't know anything.
Remember that?
Well, some people at work are teasing me about how old I am by saying, "Oh, ask Hal about how to get out of this pandemic. He lived through the last one." So I'm picking a 2-0 home win back in 2010, the 24th of April. Kevin Blackwell, our manager, and United had nothing to play for. I went to this one, had a great view of Richard Creswell breaking the deadlock on the hour with his 13th goal of the season, hooking a left foot shot into the top right-hand corner from Mark Yates. Remember him, his layoff. Richard Creswell added his 14th late on, just before full time, after good work inside the box before firing under De Vries. You might remember Doris De Vries, the former Swans keeper. It's this team. I'll tell you what, this is not quite as memorable a side. Kenny, Naismith, Morgan, Nosworthy, Bartley, Monty, Harper, Glenn Little, Stephen Quinn, Richard Creswell, and Henri Camara.
Henri Camara. I remember him scoring a goal at Bramall Lane, and we were thinking, "Oh, we've got a player here."
I remember thinking that. I also sometimes said Camara, sometimes said Camara. It was a mix and match.
Don't really matter, does it?
I just don't know.
I just don't know. Well, we didn't see him many times in a Blade shirt anyway, did we? Let's be honest. But what we are going to do is we're going to start looking at players that have been in both a Sheffield United shirt and a Swansea shirt. So I'll go first, Hal. And what I'll do is I'll go for the easy one. Ollie McBurney, pal, my best friend on Twitter. Oh, actually, I don't know if he is anymore because I can't see anything that he puts up. So here we go. We've got Ollie McBurney. Obviously played for both. Played for Swansea and then the Blades bought him for 17.5 million, rising to 20 million, probably depending on like appearances and goals. So let's say 17.5 million. So he obviously scored a lot of goals for Swansea. He played for Swansea, went on loan loads of times. So here we've got 58 games, 22 goals. But I think it was more like that season when he banged them all in was probably more 40 games, something like that. But obviously then came to the Blade, 17.5 million. And he's played 60 games, only 7 goals, which I think he would have expected to do better. And I think he's expecting to do better in his Blades career. So let's see what he's going to do this season, because obviously we know that he can do it in the Championship, Hal. So who are you going to go for next?
Well, if you're going for Ollie McBurney, pal, then I am going to go for Rhian Brewster, because it makes sense to go from one striker that we currently have to another. Former Liverpool player, never made a league appearance for Liverpool, but did make 20 league appearances for the Jacks. He was on loan at Swansea City, and he scored a goal every other game. We haven't quite seen that in a Blade shirt. 20 appearances, 10 goals while he was at Swansea. Some of them, if I can quote Alan Partridge, you would see them and you would say, "Striker."
Okay. So Nathan Dyer. Nathan Dyer, do you know what? He was so good for the Blades in them 7 games. I joke. I think he played 1 or 2 games, and then after that, he had about half an hour playing in like 5 games, something like that. He managed to get 1 goal and had a really good rest of his career. However, he's still quite young, and Leicester was the last team that he played for in 2016. So I'm not sure what happened there. But Hal, before I go on about the Sheffield United and the Swansea kind of stats, did you know that Nathan Dyer was part of the Leicester City Premier League winning side?
Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. We obviously haven't rehearsed that, have we?
Well, would you want me to lie? Would that be better? Do you want to do it again?
No, I don't want to do it again, but I did want you to lie. Anyway.
Okay, yeah. No idea. Please tell me the start then. Was that back when he had 2 hands?
He definitely had 2 hands at that point. He played 12 games for them that season as well. So some will have been in the Premier League. So yeah, thanks for that, Hal.
Right,
for Swansea City, he played around 300 games, scoring 24 goals, which is okay for a winger, I suppose.
Okay.
Come on then, pal. Come on then.
Leon Britton, a man who actually shares my face when he has like a sort of a beard. He doesn't look like me without it, and he's the same height as me. So midfielder Leon Britton.
We haven't got Leon Britton on here. We've got Kyle Norton.
Oh, is that who I said? Great. I've done all my research for Leon Britton. I definitely said Leon Britton, honestly.
I think you did.
Bobby in the background's had a mare. He's too busy passing his GCSEs. If we take a quick moment to just say, Bobby, well done. What I've done now, Bobby, is I've made a mistake, which makes me vulnerable as a man. And there's only one thing worse than that, and that's toxic masculinity. Right, my next player, Nick, is Kyle Norton. We'll edit this out. Kyle Norton, please.
There you go.
There he is. That's me. That's how I feel. Hands on hips and just a bit miffed. He played 40 games in the league for the Blades, scored 1 goal, went on loan to Gretna. Do you remember Gretna, a team in Scotland that don't even exist anymore?
Do they not? I do know that he went there, but I don't know a lot about Gretna, if I'm honest.
You don't need to bother. They don't exist. Then, of course, he was sold for more money than Kyle Walker in that double deal to Tottenham. Had loan spells at Middlesbrough, Leicester, Norwich, and has now made 200 appearances on the nose for Swansea City, scoring 5 goals. Yeah, good player, came through the youth system. Pop your players that played for both in the comments.
Yeah, he definitely could have had a longer Premier League career than what he did. He was a very, very good player, technically very good player. Obviously, wasn't as quick as Kyle Walker, wasn't as strong as Kyle Walker, and definitely has less money in the bank than Kyle Walker right now. But anyway, I think we're done, mate. I think we are done. Shall we leave it there?
Yeah, please join us tomorrow, 7:30 for the watch along.
Thank you very much for watching, people, and we will see you. When will we see you?
Tomorrow.
7:30. 7:30. All right then. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.